It begins with something smaller than a grain of dust. A single spore of Ophiocordyceps unilateralis lands on the cuticle of a carpenter ant. It's not a violent entry. Instead, it's a chemical heist. The spore germinates, releasing a cocktail of enzymes, including chitinases and lipases, that begin to dissolve the ant's tough exoskeleton from the outside in. Once a microscopic breach is created, a specialized tube-like structure called a germ tube penetrates the body wall, delivering the fungus into the ant's hemolymph, its blood equivalent. The invasion has begun, entirely unnoticed. Inside, the fungus doesn't immediately attack vital organs. That would be inefficient. Instead, it proliferates as individual yeast-like cells, riding the currents of the hemolymph to every corner of the ant's body. These cells begin to interconnect, forming a vast, unified network called a mycelium. This biological mesh weaves itself between muscle fibers, around organs, and throughout the ant's limbs. The ant continues its normal life, foraging, communicating, and serving its colony, all while this alien network quietly assembles the infrastructure for a coup. Here's where the common understanding gets it wrong. The fungus doesn't invade the brain. In fact, studies show it actively avoids it. The ant's brain, its center of consciousness, remains intact, a prisoner in its own body. The fungal network, now surrounding the muscle fibers, begins to secrete compounds that seize control of the motor neurons directly. It's not brain control, it's neuromuscular puppetry. The fungus has effectively built an external nervous system around the ant's own muscles, allowing it to send its own signals and hijack the limbs. The takeover manifests as bizarre behavior. The infected ant abandons its colony and its foraging duties. It begins to twitch and convulse, its movements becoming erratic and jerky. It is compelled to climb. The fungus forces the ant upwards, onto the stem of a plant, to a very specific height, often around 25 centimeters. This isn't random. This elevation provides the perfect combination of temperature and humidity for the next and final stage of the fungus's life cycle. The ant is now a guided missile aimed at a predetermined location. Once the correct altitude is reached, the fungus induces a final, crucial act. The ant is directed to the underside of a leaf, often one facing north. The fungus then triggers a massive, final convulsion of the mandibular muscles, forcing the ant to bite down into a leaf vein with incredible force. This death grip is so powerful that it permanently locks the mandibles in place. The atrophy of the jaw muscles is rapid and irreversible. The ant's body is now nothing more than an anchor, a secure platform for the fungus's gruesome bloom. With the host secured, the fungus has no more use for the ant's living systems. It consumes the body from the inside out, converting the ant's tissues into fungal biomass. Then, something remarkable happens. A slender stalk, called the stroma, begins to grow. It forces its way through the weakest point in the exoskeleton, typically the back of the ant's head or neck. This stalk grows slowly, over days, reaching towards the forest floor below. It is a reproductive structure, built entirely from the raw materials that were once a living, breathing ant. At the tip of this stalk, a fruiting body, called the perithecium, develops. This is the weapon. When mature, it actively shoots out spores. These spores don't just fall, they are ejected with enough force to glide on air currents, raining down on a specific area of the forest floor below. This creates a deadly minefield, roughly 1 square meter in size, directly underneath the deceased host. Any unfortunate ant foraging in this zone is at high risk of becoming the next victim, continuing the cycle. But Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is not a single entity. It's what scientists call a species complex. This means there are dozens, perhaps hundreds of different species, each highly specialized to infect a single species of ant. A fungus that targets a leafcutter ant in Brazil will have no effect on a carpenter ant in Thailand. This incredible specificity is the result of millions of years of co-evolution, a finely tuned relationship between a particular parasite and its particular host. How long has this been going on? We have evidence of this war from 48 million years ago. Paleobotanists studying fossilized leaves from the Messel pit in Germany found distinctive, dumbbell-shaped bite marks. These marks are identical to the death grip bites made by modern infected ants. This tells us that this complex, neurologically manipulative behavior has been a successful parasitic strategy for nearly 50 million years, an ancient and enduring battle between fungus and insect. The ants, however, are not helpless victims. They have evolved defenses. Ant colonies exhibit a form of social immunity. Healthy ants can often detect an infected individual by its strange behavior and will carry it far away from the nest to die alone, preventing an outbreak. Furthermore, ants are meticulous groomers. They constantly clean themselves and each other, which can remove fungal spores before they have a chance to germinate. Some species even seem to have learned to avoid the killing fields beneath the fungal stalks, demonstrating a form of collective memory. The arms race gets even more complex. The Ophiocordyceps fungus has its own enemy, a hyperparasite. This is another fungus, one that specifically targets the zombie ant fungus. It infects the stroma after it has erupted from the ant's head, but it doesn't kill it. Instead, it castrates it, consuming the reproductive structures and preventing the Ophiocordyceps from ever forming or releasing its spores. In this intricate web, even the puppet master can have its strings cut.
Monotony has grown fast. Nearly 2,700 people have watched in the last few weeks, yet less than 0.03% are subscribed. It would mean a lot if you joined by hitting subscribe. And again, thanks for watching.